Wherever you are and wherever you're online, a traditionally warm Scottish welcome to this climate change debate taking place tonight in Edinburgh in the midst of what is just the fourth set of elections, amazingly, to the Scottish Parliament, which opened in 1999. Good evening, my name is Alan Mackay. I'm here to keep order, but also to encourage everyone online to submit questions through the page that you're watching at your laptop or in your internet cafe or wherever you are around the world. As you can see, you can also submit questions through Facebook and Twitter, and you'll see them on the page in front of you. The debate, unless you can tell us otherwise, is what we believe to be a world first. The first on climate change, and certainly during an election campaign. The hosts tonight are Stop Climate Chaos Scotland. That's a coalition organisation which numbers 60 members who campaign together on climate change. Of course, many online at present will be from Scotland, but a quick word for those of us joining us from elsewhere around the world. This debate is taking place in the headquarters of one of the member organisations of Stop Climate Chaos Scotland, which is, interestingly enough, just a mile or so away from Scotland's Parliament, which in recent years has passed some of the most ambitious climate change legislation in the world today. Today in Scotland has been Climate Day, when those contesting the elections have been unveiling their policies in this area, so there will be no shortage of points to debate, I'm sure. We'll get underway with that debate almost immediately, just after I've introduced tonight's panel guests, who then will go on to make a 1-minute statement on their party's behalf. I should say that the 5 who are with us tonight represent those parties who made up the last Scottish Parliament, which was dissolved on the 22nd of March. On my far right is Ian McGill, representing the Scottish Conservatives. On his left, Patrick Harvey from the Scottish Greens. On my immediate right, Sarah Boyack from Scottish Labour. On my left is Mike Crockart from the Liberal Democrats. And on his left, Shirley Ann Somerville from the Scottish National Party. Ian McGill from the Scottish Conservatives, could you kick off with your 1-minute opening statement?
Thank you very much, Alan. The first step to decarbonising our economy and ensuring energy security is reducing our energy consumption. A Scottish Conservative amendment in the Climate Change Scotland Act 2009 introduced the Green Council tax discount. We will seek to improve the uptake of this through a public information campaign. We will retain home energy reports despite the abolition of home reports and consolidate the various energy efficiency schemes into one system with residential and non-residential schemes. We will require local authorities to publish heat maps showing where demand is in the local areas with a view to increasing the take-up of district heating where appropriate. In the public sector, we will require all public bodies to publish details of their energy consumption and commit to a target to reduce it. We will also aim for a sensible and sustainable review and new productive softwoods and promote theme days throughout the year to encourage volunteering, environmental volunteering such as beach cleanups. It's common sense to protect our environment, and Scottish Conservative measures will do just that.
Ian McGill, thank you very much indeed. Now Patrick Harvey from the Scottish Greens.
Thank you very much, and thanks to Stop Climate Chaos Scotland for the invitation. I was first taken along to Green Party branch meetings when I was a little boy, and my mum was a candidate way back before any of the other political parties took climate change remotely seriously. So it's really encouraging and empowering to see how far the issue has come. We have set ambitious long-term climate change targets in Scotland. We've got a decent bill in place, but we need to go way beyond that. The annual targets that were set under that piece of legislation were frankly unimpressive. They were a flat line for the first few years. That's simply not acceptable when the commitment had been to annual 3% reductions per year. But we also need to say that we need more than just targets, and more than just more of the good stuff. We need less of the bad stuff. All of the other 4 political parties on this panel have supported new coal-fired power stations at one point or another, either north or south of the border when they've been in government. All of them have supported new deep-water oil drilling in Scottish waters. All of them have seen, while they've been in government, an expansion of open-cast coal. If we're digging more coal and burning more coal and pumping more oil, the phrase low carbon economy becomes meaningless.
Okay,
We need
thank
to
you
be
very
doing
much.
less of the bad stuff as well as more of the good stuff.
Thank you very much, Patrick. And now on to Sarah Boyack from Scottish Labour for her 1 minute opening statement.
Well, I very much welcome this debate. It's very timely, and I think it'll be really interesting to see how it works for those of you who are on your computers and internet cafes and in the House. For Scottish Labour, this is an election about how we pull ourselves out of recession, but do it in a low carbon way. There are massive opportunities to create new green jobs. We want to make sure that we have green apprenticeships, that the new jobs fund that we would task for young people getting an opportunity to work would focus on green jobs. And we think that in every aspect of our lives, whether it's housing, whether it's how we deal with our waste, our energy, our land use, our transport, in every aspect of those lives, we need to make radical changes if we're going to meet our radical targets of 42% carbon emission reductions by the year 2020. We're up for the challenge. Today we were looking at City Car Club's contribution and the proposal from Scottish Labour for 10,000 electricity charging points for cars across our towns and cities. We'd retrofit 10,000 houses with solar panels and other types of renewable energy to create income for local authorities and housing associations and deliver energy efficiency. We want to do more on land use, we want to work towards zero waste ambitions, and we want to make sure we make the most of our community renewable opportunities. Not enough has happened in the Scottish Parliament on that agenda so far. We want to see a lot more, and we still haven't seen the big opportunities that come for our marine renewables. We will make sure that in all of those areas we make sure we have a low carbon economy, creating thousands of jobs, building us out of the recession, but doing it in a way that creates less carbon emissions.
Okay,
that will
thank you
create
very much
success for the
indeed.
future. Thank you.
And now on to Mike Crockart from the Scottish Liberal Democrats.
Thank you very much, Alan. As we all know, climate change is an alarming phenomenon that transcends borders and threatens the very future of our planet. Scotland, like all countries, must act to reduce its emissions now if we are to avoid the future dire consequences. And Scotland has done well in setting a strong example for other developed countries to follow through the ambitious commitments in the Climate Change Act. However, creating groundbreaking legislation and setting headline-grabbing targets is only the beginning and must be followed up with real solutions. Solutions like investing £250 million in domestic energy efficiency to reduce the 29% of all energy that we currently use in our homes, and by doing so cutting the 25% of our CO2 emissions that creates. Solutions like committing to a target of generating the equivalent of 100% of Scotland's electricity consumption from renewable sources. These are the types of real and tangible solutions that we propose to tackle the threat of imminent climate change.
Okay, Mike, thank you very much indeed. And now to Shirley Ann Somerville from the Scottish National Party for her 1 minute opening statement.
Thank you. One of the proudest moments of my time in the Scottish Parliament in the last session was the passing of the Climate Change Act, a Scottish Government bill but worked on by all the political parties together so that the Scottish Parliament could genuinely pass a piece of legislation that's now seen as world leading. But there's also been work on the ground to make those targets a reality. And one aspect of that is green energy, particularly the renewable sector. The government has made a very, very special effort to speed up the planning process so that developers can either have a yes or a no to planning applications. That's why we've actually doubled the amount of renewable projects that have been passed by the Scottish Government. There is more to do. There's so much that Scotland has within its potential for green energy jobs, whether it's wave or tidal or wind, and we need to look at that through apprenticeships and through the jobs that we can create throughout Scotland. We've put the investment in that in the past, through the Ports Fund, through different renewable funding, so there has been work going on. We know that there is still so much more to do. We know that Scotland has an opportunity, and we don't want to see Scotland stand by and waste that. Investing in new nuclear technology, as other parties would have us do, is the wrong way. Millions of pounds worth of subsidy going down a route which is inherently unsafe.
All right,
We don't
Shirley
see
Ann,
the future in
thank you
nuclear.
very much indeed.